Okay, all right. It looks like we are live and about 4 minutes early. Bit of a pregame show here. And things acted a little strange on that startup, but hopefully we're good. It's coming up on 3 minutes to the hour and about 15 seconds there, as you can see. And this is an emergency broadcast. I was contacted not too long ago by Carlos, and he informed me that he is going to be on Rodeo Drive, and he and others, unnamed others, at a location somewhere near or on Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles, California, I believe the Beverly Hills section. And so hopefully we'll be hearing from him. Let me get my Skype ready here. Let me get Skype up so that he can Skype into the show. That would really be cool. Really cool stuff if he can Skype in live. And let me see if I can pull up this show. Here, there it is. My Skype ready here. All right, and Cheetown's in the house. Stig is hanging out. He says, good evening, Craig and everybody. Yes, an emergency broadcast, Yipu, that's correct. And Cheetown's in the house. So later on, if you remind me, I'll tell you about my escapade going and looking at the For Travel motor coach. It was a disappointment, folks. It was a disappointment, and I'll fill you in if we have time on the broadcast. Cheetown's in the house. There's a Grand Seiko boutique on Rodeo Drive. I wonder if Carlos will finally take the plunge and get himself a decent wristwatch to wear. Something like this. Let's see. Look at that. Let me see if I can get it in focus. There we go. Moment of silence for that stunning 002. 002 on wrist today, and the faux pay complementing it. The 18 karat gold faux pay complementing the 002 stunner. That's how we work it around here. And of course, the 231 titanium stunner on the bench. Steve is going to be talking about that in an upcoming show, the titanium watches and how they're holding up and so on and so forth, because he had a gentleman contact him and inquire about the chronograph, the GMT he has. That's a chronograph that he's been wearing lately that is titanium. And that's pretty amazing beast. Steve commented to me the other day that it's really comfortable on wrist. And I said, hey, I've been telling you this for years. Some people are a little slow. It takes a little long for them to grasp concepts, but that's okay. They grasp them eventually. And hopefully the notifications will go out on this broadcast. This was an emergency. I just scheduled it not long ago. So we will see how all that works. And hopefully Carlos will let me know when he's going to Skype in. I got my earbuds here. These should work. Haven't had anyone Skype in for a while. Update on, excuse me. Oh, what? That's exceedingly rude. Be yawning in the middle of a show, but I did some experimenting with StreamYard, and I was able to wrangle, actually Brianna was able to wrangle a free trial of the Pro version, and she's going to do some testing with that. Hopefully Steve is going to do some testing with it soon with his M1 powered Mac Mini. And if that works, then I think I'm going to order a Mac Mini specifically for this broadcast station and update my MacBook Pro, because with StreamYard, of course, you have to use the laptop, or in this case it wouldn't be a laptop, but the computer to do the actual streaming. As opposed to right now, I'm using the built-in encoder in the Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro, which is a high-quality encoder. You have to use the computer to do the encoding if you're using StreamYard. So you have to have a fairly robust computer, and I tested it with Brianna's MacBook Air, not an M1 powered one, the previous version, and that was not up to the task. The video was kind of jerky. When it was a still image or something, it looked fine, but when there was any movement, it was jerky. Let me know it's not jerky now, right? So hopefully long story short, with the Mac Mini, with the M1 chip, hopefully Steve's test will go smoothly, and then I can upgrade this computer to the Mac Mini, and then I can start using StreamYard, which opens up a whole bunch of additional features for the show. Stig's in the house. It was a great BTC show. I watched it afterwards. Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, yeah, he's pretty cool. Pretty cool dude. Let's see. My MacBook Pro is still chugging along, even if though it's almost 10 years old. Still my Ion M1 powered MacBook Pro. Cheetown. Yeah, well, I mean, this MacBook Pro I'm using right now is 10 years old. It's a 2010. It's 11 years old. And I can do things like share the lovely Lady Brianna's website, refitdance.com. That's a screen share from that aforementioned laptop computer. And it still works. It still works, but it can't handle StreamYard. It can't handle that. So we tried it. We tested it with this laptop, and then we brought in a little more horsepower, newer laptop, albeit a MacBook Air, which is their base model, and that was not up to the task. So hopefully the M1 will get the job done. We will see when Steve does a test. Fingers crossed that he does a test fairly soon. I've got 6, well, maybe 5 more days left on that free trial. I'm cheap, of course. I don't want to pay for it unless it's actually going to function. So, hopefully we will hear from Carlos. And hopefully I'll know when I guess I'll notice him calling in. If not, Carlos, be sure to put something in the chat telling me that you're going to call in. And there's an official time check. We're after 5 o'clock. We're after the official start time of the show. So hopefully we're going to be hearing from Carlos. Let's see here. What do you think of Apple's commitment to protecting customer data from being sold, unlike Facebook? Well, they can do it because they make their money really on the hardware. That's been their whole business model ever since day one. And it's been very difficult for most companies to do that. Most companies have not been able to make money on computer hardware. It's kind of been a rush to the bottom, and so they have to make money off of software, and they have to make money off of leveraging relationships with customers, and so that's how Facebook makes money, of course, because most of their services are free, so they have to make money somehow, right? And same thing with Google. They have to make money somehow, so they leverage the customer. I don't mind that a Google or Facebook knows everything I do online because I assume that everything I do online is going to be known anyway. That's my default assumption. So why fight it? Why fight it? But some people are concerned about that sort of thing, and I use Apple for other reasons. I use Apple just because I think they're high-quality products, and they seem to work well. So I really don't care about the privacy thing. As far as I'm concerned, that ship has sailed. Shitan says, I'd rather pay the premium having a company stand by its support instead of myself becoming an item sold. There you go. Yep. Well, and also Apple is great on customer service. I mean, I've had them step up and fix things that were clearly out of warranty at no cost. They are a stellar company as far as customer service. And, of course, you pay for it. You pay the, quote, Apple Premium. To me, it's worth it. Let's see what else. And while we're waiting for Carlos to come in, maybe I'll tell my story about the ForTravel. So, I should have gone by the old axiom, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is not true. So anyway, this guy had this 1995 ForTravel U240, 36-footer. Of course, those have no slide outs, which I really don't want slide outs, to tell you the truth, in my coach. But 44,000 miles, supposedly just an absolute cream puff. He said, oh, you'll love it when you see it, blah, blah, blah. Always been garage kept. Then I pried out of him that the first 5 years it was actually in a carport, wasn't in a garage. So that should have been my first red flag. But anyway, it sounded good. And so I drove 630 miles to Tennessee, not too far from Nashville, to take a look at this coach. And it's not a piece of junk, but it's been kind of let go. It's been sitting it is in a garage now. It's all dusty. He had the windows open inside the garage, and it's a decent sized building that it's in. So, dust gets around and so on. So everything was dusty inside. But there was more corrosion than I would have wanted to see on different things. It just wasn't a cream puff. And that's what it was represented as being. It was more like a redheaded stepchild. And it's a shame because it's kind of been let go a little bit. But it was a 44,000-mile coach. But needless to say, not only did I not buy it, I was supposed to stay in the coach overnight, and we were supposed to thoroughly check it out the next day. And if we did a deal, go to the bank, get them the money, and go to the DMV and register. We're supposed to do all that the next day because I got there late. I got there about 10 o'clock our time. He's 1 hour difference, so about 10:30 our time, maybe 9:30 his time. I looked it over some. Brianna went down with me because she was going to follow me back in the Prius. We both looked it over for about a half an hour, and we're getting ready to settle in for the night. And I just shook my head. I said, there's just too many things. There's just too many things. And so we packed back up. We packed the car up, and we left. And we drove back, and we were going to stop and get a hotel or something, but I was just so pissed off, and I was ramped up, and there was no traffic because by the time we were on the road, it was like almost midnight, and there was no traffic anywhere. You know how the lights are all timed, and so every light was green, right? And we're making really good time. I'm driving back. Oh, here's Carlos. Hold on. Bring Carlos in on the mix here. Okay, let me get my, hold on.
Hello,
hold on,
Craig.
Carlos. Hold on, Carlos. Let me get my earbuds. Hello. Can you hear me? Carlos.
Craig.
Oh, hi.
Hello, Craig.
Hello. You've got some friends with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we are here.
We're here.
We're real people.
Yeah. Grand Seiko. Uh-oh. Have you guys been inside yet?
Yes. In fact, they show us very interesting things.
Carlos, wait. Turn it horizontal. Turn your phone horizontal.
Okay.
There you go. Go ahead.
Okay, repeat what we saw, that I have bad memory.
So they showed us the 002.
Oh, they've got one in stock.
Okay, good.
We're going to go to lunch because Carlos is still on the fence.
Craig, this is your chance to convince Carlos to buy the 002.
Yeah,
it's sitting inside right there.
We need you to convince him.
Hey, I think that the three of you, I mean, if you three can't do it, I don't think it's doable. I have to put it that way. But yeah, Carlos, that would look really classy on Carlos's wrist. And then he would have a heavy use dress watch that can take abuse, That spring drive is very robust.
Definitely.
So he doesn't have a heavy use dress watch with a deployant clasp. Think about that.
I have to consider that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something to think about.
Yes, they would not unfortunately let us film in the store. That's too bad, but we tried.
Well, I've got one right here. We really don't have to film it. I've got one on wrist.
Funny enough, as much as I want to joke around, actually.
I do too. Yeah. I have to be honest.
Man, they had a very special critter too. They have a great stock, and they treated us very, very well. Yeah.
Now, did they offer you any kind of a deal on the 002? Because they've been pretty high prices on Chrono 24 on those.
We haven't asked.
We didn't get to that point.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys got to wine and dine Carlos. Get him a little bit drunk, and then head back there, once he's had a few.
Do you want to see my car?
Yes, yes. Let's do
Okay.
this. I want a full report on your trip too. Is there a bench
Okay.
somewhere where you guys can sit down
Yeah,
and we can have a little
I
chat?
to get this to match the doxa.
Oh, there you
Do you think?
go. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't blame
it,
you.
it goes well with the doxa.
I told Craig not to buy it. I told Carlos not to buy it because these things are a lot of maintenance costs. But Carlos was adamant. He wanted something to match that Doxa.
And I
Abs-
have also painted my my parking my parking meter,
That's right.
my color.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Yeah. You can rock
VIP
that.
treatment.
You can rock that Doksun style.
Yeah, definitely. No, we are in LA. Great. Yeah, we have a very good feeling. Great weather,
Oh, yeah.
and we arrived some minutes ago. So far, we have only been on Grand Seiko,
Okay.
and we are going to to check.
But Craig, I saw the 229 and the 231, and I'm hesitant by class, but I think the Doxa class might be a little better.
I
Uh
think
oh.
so.
We got another challenge. Uh oh.
Round two.
I think we need to have a round two, Craig.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, where the clasp of the GS shines is the speed. The speed. And I think if we do another race, I think I'm going to win. I have to say. I don't think Carlos can beat the speed of the 231.
I think that I should use more time to prepare and to train myself.
I think
Yeah,
so.
over the next best of 7 series.
You don't become a black belt in one night. You gotta.
And maybe I should start doing the things that you do with the stick and the rope and the bottle.
Yeah,
To get
there you
to
go.
have more strength.
Yeah, you got to get in training. Carlos, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, I'd hate to see how big and strong Carlos would be if he started training. I mean, he's already a monster. But if he started training, are you kidding me? Brianna says, hello to everyone. Nice to see Carlos and friends together. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bree.
Yeah, but we are here in a place. We were expecting that maybe you will be coming on the ambulance with
Yes,
with
I
Bree.
know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to tell the story later about the four-travel RV that we looked at, the coach. It was a disappointment. I drove 630 miles planning on picking it up and driving it back, and no go. I turned around and drove back. So sometimes you got to walk away from a deal. That's what we did.
True.
Yeah, like how says in the Gambler song, you know when to fold and when to walk away.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
The Kenny Rogers song.
So listen, Carlos, seriously, is there a bench anywhere near there where you guys can sit down and we can have a brief talk? Or did they take all the benches out?
We can go to the other side with more light.
Okay, yeah. Anywhere there's a bench where you guys can sit down so we won't have the phone whipping around all over the place. And
A bench here.
there you go. There's
You
a bench.
prefer with more light or in
Well, the
same,
light, you want the light, you want the light in front of you, not behind you. So that you don't want the light flowing into the camera. That's all.
We can go to that. We can go to on the other side of the street. There is a bench.
Okay. And then I want to get a report. I want to get there's the Grand Seiko. That's stunning. I want to get a report on your trip so far.
We have the Grand Seiko there, and next is Panerai. That you love Panerai, isn't it?
And Brianna
Aren't
says
you?
the Little Treasury logo is blocking Craig. I understand, but Craig's not important right now. What's important is what's happening on Rodeo Drive.
We have Hermes here.
But I can move I'll try to drag my picture down. Here we go. I'll drag it down some so it's good tip, Bree. Good tip. Good catch.
We have the light in front. Okay. Like this?
Yeah, you guys look fine. And sit close together so you can all be in the shot. Who has the steadiest hand to hold the camera?
I might.
Okay. All right, you guys get close together there. Okay. So Carlos, bring us. This is just a quick update here. just bring us up to get a little closer. She's not going to bite, Carlos. So, uh-oh, they froze. We have a freezing action. They're trying to reconnect. Poor network connection. There we go. There we go. You guys froze. You guys froze for a sec. Oh, look at that. Look at Leslie's watch. Are you kidding me?
Actually,
That is stunning.
yeah, I didn't know.
That is stunning. We got to get Carlos a tripod. That's what we got to do.
Kyle.
Oh, wow. The no date sub. That's a stunner. That's a stunner. And an Omega?
And myself, the Explorer.
Explorer. That's the way to go. Now, that's the 39 mil Explorer, right?
Yeah, it is.
Looks very good. See, that's the size that Carlos needs. So, okay. So real quick, Carlos, bring us up to date on your trip so far. When did you leave Panama? Where have you been?
I left Panama on Monday. Basically, yesterday I went to San Diego to pick up the car.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, the car was still there. It was the only car. It was the only car in the parking lot. Fortunately, it started very well. I had to do some stuff because the car was full of stuff from my son. And yeah, I drive to LA. I had very, very good driving. But today I left the car on the service because there is a problem with the passenger seat that don't stay on good position.
Okay.
And yeah, my plan is to start driving to Seattle on Friday.
Seattle on Friday. You're going to drive up the coast.
I will drive on the interstate. I hope to get to Seattle on Sunday. I will stop for sure on Saturday in Portland. By the way, I am going to have dinner with Crappy. That
Okay.
is another someone from the community
Yes.
too.
Sure.
Yeah, and on Friday I will drive. I don't know until I get tired. I assume that probably would be 9 hours, 10 hours, something like that.
Okay. All
Close
right.
to Oregon State Line, I assume.
So
I
now,
don't know.
where are you guys going for lunch? You going for lunch here in a little while?
We haven't decided. I think Rich had something thought of about something, but I don't know. Craig is saying that we are going.
Oh, yeah, he met Craig, yeah. Wait, what? What's going on?
Where are we going for lunch?
Oh, you know what? We haven't made plans for that yet.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
basically-
somewhere where they can serve a couple of drinks, so you can get Carlos.
I'm Bus's designated driver, so yeah, he's probably going to take a
Yeah.
bottle down.
Yeah.
Down to the,
And then you can take him back to the boutique and.
Driver on Rich's car.
Carlos is our guest in the U.S., so he's like,
Now
all right, well,
is Carlos wearing the doxa? Is Carlos wearing the doxa now? Is Carlos wearing the doxa?
No.
Oh, you don't have it?
I haven't.
Oh, that's right. You've got the Explorer on. That's right. Okay, well, good. I think the Explorer will be good in rotation with the 002. I think that'll be a good rotation.
The 39 millimeter is perfect on his wrist. It looks like a 36 millimeter would on a normal wrist.
Yeah,
My wrist, that's not.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why the 38.5 mil 002 would be perfect in rotation with that.
Yeah. I mean, there
Ab-
you go again.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right.
I
So.
want to check. I want to check Tudor. There is a new Tudor.
Oh
that is
yeah.
solid silver. But
No.
I want to check it. Let's see.
Please, Carlos, back away from the tutors. Just back away. Take a step back. You'll be fine. Holy cow!
I should take any kind of of pill of psychedelic pill not to get it. Now I have curiosity. Let's leave that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good, yeah. But remember, curiosity killed the cat, so. All
Yeah.
right. Tom is saying, wow, hey. Cheetown said all heavy duty pieces in that pose. And Rolex and Omega
Yeah.
Club there. How's the Rolex, Leslie, says Cheetown.
How is the Rolex? We
It's
can
good. I
walk.
wear it every day.
Uh,
I've spanked it a couple of times,
sorry, excuse
and
me.
it still looks perfect.
Let me. I don't know.
So it's definitely a heavy use watch.
Yes.
Good. That's the way to do it because you can't wear that watch out. I can tell you right now, you won't be able to wear that watch out. That watch will last decades without any real issues. That's a robust. That's a robust piece.
The bracelet can't.
Small wrist, but that's perfect.
Yeah,
That just worked out perfect.
it did. Yeah,
No, that is perfect, and
It
I
is.
think that much
Yeah.
nicer than.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning, stunning, stunning. All right. Well, where are you guys headed next?
Good guys.
What?
There are.
Yeah, we are going to walk a bit around the street, and yeah, we will. I don't know. I don't know. Doing.
All right. Well, if you want to
Hill-
call, if you see something interesting and you want to call back in, then do it. I'm standing by. We're going to be broadcasting until 6. So we got another 35 minutes in the broadcast. Anything you want to say before we let you walk a little bit?
Okay. Okay. We see something. It was a. I sorry that the man didn't feel comfortable about reporting from the store because they really had very nice things.
Yeah, I mean that's silly that they wouldn't let you report from the store. I mean that's just silly. Well, it is what it is, but yep.
He saw you wearing the Grand Seiko, but for some reason I don't know.
He said he'll let us call if Carlos buys the 002.
Yeah.
Did they really say that? What a
Well, no,
bribe!
But we have.
When you spend $25,000, you can make the phone call.
They're really bribing, trying to bribe. Okay, well, hey, if you're going to do a deal, he better do a deal. It's not 25. That's list. He's got to come off of that list. I don't care how much they're asking on Chrono 24. He's got to do a deal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, hey, call us if you have anything else to report. I tell you what? Do you want to just kind of show us one more time, like right around there, everything that's around there? Just give it a little scan around so we can see.
I don't know what happened. That is the okay. Now, excellent day.
Beautiful.
Most of the streets are on this on this street, Rodeo Drive. This is like the center of
Yep.
Beverly Hills.
Yep.
Here we have Armani, Hermes. Everything is here, really. Really.
There you go. Nice,
Yeah.
some nice vehicles driving around.
Yeah.
So your car's in the shop. How did you get there?
Sorry.
How did you get there if your car's in the shop?
I called Rich to pick me up.
Okay.
Rich came to where I am.
Good.
And he was
Good.
very kind of coming to pick me up.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, call us
That is
in.
Rich. Really, the yellow is Rich car.
Yeah, that's what you need. That's what you need. All right. Well, call in and
Okay.
give us an update if you see anything interesting.
Okay. Okay, Craig.
Thanks
Okay.
again. Thanks again for calling in, and you guys don't get in too much trouble there.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and remember to unblock Chip Wong. Remember
Unblock
the
Chip
request.
Wong. Well, we got to make sure he's the right Chip Wong, though.
Yeah.
Bad ship.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That's Carlos live from Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive. Carlos live. So how was that? Was that pretty amazing? Pretty amazing? Hey, wouldn't it be cool if he ducks in and ends up with a 002 stunner like this one? So he has a heavy use dress watch? That would be really cool. So perhaps it's time for cafe latte. And Jaden said super crew. Nice surprise to see everyone together, said Tom. It was a surprise, and fortunately, Carlos contacted me about a half an hour or so before showtime, and said he could call in, and fortunately, I was here and I was able to get an emergency broadcast put together, and we were able to do this. So once again, there's the 002. The stunner that they saw in person, and that is not easy to do. There aren't that many 002s in the country. They're very rare. And so they've seen one in person, and Carlos has seen this watch also in person. And I think he saw two. I think he was there when Steve had one in stock, or maybe not. Maybe Steve had just sold his. The story, if you guys don't remember, when he got this watch, he got two 002s from Grand Seiko. One to have an inventory and one for me because I had told him that I was interested in an 002. So he got one in. We did a deal. I ended up with one, and then he had the other one in inventory for a while, and he eventually sold it. But I don't know if he had it in inventory when Carlos was there visiting. I don't remember now how that timing went down. But I think he probably did have it in inventory when Carlos was there. So Carlos may have actually seen two 002s and now a third. So that he's probably one of the few people on the face of the planet that has seen three 002s in person. That might be even counting people working for Grand Seiko. So, what else? Okay, so I'll bring you through up to date on the trip. So we go out there, and it just really wasn't a cream puff. And I was looking for a cream puff. You know, a 44,000 mile, just beautiful, stand up, ready to go coach. Now, the price was pretty good, so maybe I was expecting too much. And then the other thing is, I really didn't like the floor plan. When I finally examined it and so forth, that the floor plan had a few issues. So we're back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board, and I'm looking at some Prevost motor coaches and looking at various options. So we'll see what I end up doing. Meanwhile, Bitcoin had dumped, and now it's pumped a little bit. It was down below 44,000. Not 44, 54,000. Now it's up back over 56,000, so it's 56,879 right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin, if it's going to hold these levels, or if it's going to take a little dump, or if it's going to pump. It'll do one of those three things. Craig, how did the Prius handle the trip? Oh my gosh, it was a trooper. We were pushing that little puppy, because going from here on the East Coast near Camp David to near Nashville is you're literally cutting right through the Appalachian the Appalachian Mountains, up and down, twist, and even the interstates are a lot of grades and so forth. And we were pushing that puppy. I mean, we were running that puppy. 80 miles an hour most of the time, sometimes even faster. And just stopping for fuel. I mean, we busted it out there. And then turned around and drove back. Made even better time coming back, because most of that drive was in the middle of the night, so there was no traffic issues. And so bam, bam, that's like 1,300 miles in less than 24 hours. And it did great. The Prius is a beast. It really did great. Tom says, did you buy an ambulance in the end? I haven't bought an ambulance. I've been looking at some, and I haven't bought one. But this was a for travel that I was looking at. It's a high-end RV. They call them a motor coach, but it's basically a high-end RV. This one was a 36-foot, 1995, with 44,000 miles on it. And they have the, and that's a Caterpillar 3116 diesel engine, which is a pretty decent diesel engine. It has the Allison 6-speed with a retarder on it. So a good heavy-duty drivetrain. And all solid walnut interior, walnut cabinetry, and actually floor-to-ceiling walnut throughout the entire coach. And so they have a lot going for them, the Ford Travels. But this guy overpromised and underdelivered is what he did. She-Town's in the house. I can't wait till Toyota comes out with an EV to beat Tesla. That will be my first new car. Well, that's a very interesting comment, because I'm sure if and when Toyota comes out with an all-electric, that it will be stellar. I doubt they would do a mishit on that. I doubt they would roll it out if it's not everything Toyota expects, and as far as quality and reliability and all that. Because Tesla has had issues since the beginning with quality control issues. And everybody lauds them and acts like they're all that, and worships the ground they roll on and all that. And I reviewed them right when they first came out, the Model S sedan. I did a review. It's here on the channel, and it was so-so. Now the Roadster was fun, but of course that body and all, that's all Lotus, right? But it was fun. But the sedan, the first really all Tesla. The Model S sedan, the headroom in the rear seat was terrible. The seats were like buckboards. I mean, there were very little padding in the seats, especially in the rear seats. Front seats weren't that much better. The appointments inside, and didn't have like a big comfortable armrest to put your arm on, either in the center or on the side. It just was not impressive. Not impressive. And G-Town says Teslas have junk quality control. Yeah, and it's very disappointing, because an electric car should be extremely reliable. It's got a lot less moving parts, a lot fewer things to go wrong, you would think. So it should be something that could be extremely reliable and extremely robust. Why they couldn't get the quality right? And I think they still have quality issues. Supposedly they've improved quite a bit, but I think they still have a lot of issues. So yeah, I would pass on the Tesla thing, and hopefully you're right, Toyota will come out with something amazing. Let me see here if there's anything else we need to catch up on. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Hopefully Steve will be doing a broadcast with the using StreamYard with the M1 chip. Hopefully he'll be doing that soon. I think Brianna at some point is going to do a test broadcast as well, using the new system. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. You should see some of China's new EVs to beat Teslas. They're right on the money. It's interesting because Tesla built a huge factory there in China, and they're cranking out cars in China, and it's interesting that China thought they needed them. I don't understand why they needed Tesla, why they couldn't just do their own thing. But Tesla has a huge presence there. Hopefully, if some other manufacturers come out with electric cars here in the U.S. and start selling them in volume, hopefully that'll push Tesla to up their game. That would be kind of cool. So, and there has been talk about the quality control issues. So it hasn't been totally papered over, right? I mean, it has been. People have talked about it. And it makes no sense to me because, again, there's a lot less to go wrong. Why can't you get it right? Why can't you get, and fit and finish and things like that, why can't they get those things right? A buddy of mine's in the paint correction business. He does paint correction and seal, the new sealants and all that they put on them. And he's often doing brand new Teslas that have terrible paint issues, and he fixes them as best as he can, and then puts the coatings on them, and they come out real nice. But he says they're often a lot of work to try to get things corrected and get it the way it needs to be. All right, well, hey, folks, we need to hang in here another 22 minutes just in case Carlos calls in again. So what are we going to talk about? Steve's got an upcoming show to talk about the titanium Grand Seikos and how impressed he is with the chronograph, the one that he's wearing. The one with the big buttons on it. And he says he's really impressed. The big buttons don't get in the way when you bend your wrist back. They don't hit or anything. They're very functional. It's easier to operate than a Rolex. There I go again. Than a Rolex Daytona. It's easier to operate than that. By the way, I'm still groggy from that 24-hour road trip. When you miss a night's sleep, which is basically what we did, we just drove all night back, right? So no rest for the weary. And when you miss a night's sleep like that, even though I got a good night's sleep last night, you don't catch up. You don't catch up. It takes a few days for everything to be kind of, especially when you're older like me, right? It takes a little while to kind of catch up. So I'm still a little groggy today from that 24-hour driving session. Tom says GS have a new set of 9F GMTs coming out. Whoa, interesting. That's going to be interesting. And let's say, shame they still haven't brought out a smaller diver yet. Yeah, they should bring out that they have some of those divers that are primarily in the Asian market, I think. They should come out with some 9F powered divers for the U.S. And I think a 9F diver with a 40 millimeter in titanium would be pretty awesome. They could make it nice and trim on the wrist. Make it like, let's say, 12 millimeters thick. That would be fantastic. Let's see. Chi-Town, right now Toyota is focusing on fuel cell technology because while America is dumping the technology, China is innovating and racing ahead 1,000 mile per hour with fuel cell vehicles. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting movement in all those segments. And what I'm hoping is they get enough of these electric cars on the road so that they can say, hey, we no longer have to put the stupid ethanol in the gasoline, because not that many people are driving gasoline anymore. So they don't make us burn that gasoline with that stupid ethanol, which is not good for vehicles. But I don't think I'll get my wish on that. Stig's in the house. From V8 to V12 to electric, that surely is one motor journey for a car guy like you, Craig. Do you miss the old days? Well, I mean, one of the reasons why I was looking at a 1994 Ford Travel and trying to get a low mileage one in really good shape is that diesel engine has virtually no pollution controls on it. And they have really stifled the newer diesel engines starting in around 2008 or 2009, in that time frame. They started with some really, really nasty pollution control devices. The the particulate filter. I think it's called a diesel particulate, DPF, the diesel particulate filter. That is something in the exhaust system that is designed to, when the exhaust goes through that, it's designed to get real hot and burn the diesel fuel more and kind of like double burn it before it gets out and reduce emissions. And that really is, those things give a lot of trouble, and they're just a bag of hurt. And then they came out with the DEF fluid, which supposedly helps that process. And that is a can of worms, and very few diesel engines have gotten that right, and that's a real expensive thing to fix. And so they're really stifling, and the exhaust gas recirculation that they came out with, I think 2002 or so was the first year they started putting that on the diesel engines. It's kind of been on gasoline cars for quite a while, but on diesel engines it's problematic, and so... Yeah, I miss the good old days. I miss the days when they didn't have all this stuff bolted onto engines to control the emissions that stifle the engines. You know, it's one thing to bolt some things on an engine if it improves the engine, right? It's another thing to bolt things on the engine that harm it, right? And so, yeah, I miss the good old days when we didn't have all the junk bolted on the engines that causes trouble. And that's expensive. That stuff is expensive. It adds tremendously to the cost of the vehicle. So, yep, give me a 1963 Chevrolet Impala with a 327 and dual exhaust and factory air. You know, maybe a two-door convertible loaded. And just give me, you know, gasoline without corn in it to burn in it, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, we'd be good to go. Within the next couple of years, China is going to power all buses and trucks. Let's see, with battery and fuel cell technology. Okay. You know, here's the thing, though. Some of these green initiatives, right, like the use of all these solar panels, there's a lot of problems associated with getting rid of solar panels that are at the end of their useful life. There's a lot of issues with that. And the same thing with batteries. There's a lot of issues with some of these technologies that haven't really been resolved. So we'll see what happens with all this. What camera are you using? Okay, so this main camera number 1 is my old Sony A7S Mark II. A7S Mark II. It's a full-frame sensor Sony camera. I updated it a few months back with the A7S Mark III, the newest version of the same camera, which has many improvements. It took them 6 years to roll out that new version of that camera. They went from the A7S Mark II to the A7S Mark III. It took them like 6 years to do that. And I was waiting with bated breath. I needed that update. And it came, and it is not disappointing. I love the A7S Mark III. So I took the Mark II, and I put a Voigtlander, I guess that's how you pronounce it, 40 millimeter f1.4 lens on there, which is a manual focus lens. And now I'm using that as my number 1 camera, my webcam, if you will. And so, yeah, it's a nice setup. Now, see, this camera is coming into my ATEM Mini Pro Blackmagic switcher and to input 1. And the switcher is plugged in with a Cat5 cable. It's actually, I guess, a Cat6 cable. And it's plugged directly into the internet, you know, hardwired into the internet with that cable. And it is doing the encoding. The Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro is doing the encoding and sending this broadcast to YouTube. And so it's at a decent bit rate, and you get decent quality with that hardware encoder. The challenge we have now is what we're trying to do is use this same switcher, but bring it into a laptop as a webcam and then use the StreamYard software to stream. And so far, we've had some issues with doing that. And Steve is hopefully going to be testing using the computer with the M1 chip, his Mac Mini with the M1 chip, and hopefully we'll be able to achieve similar quality with using StreamYard. We'll see, because StreamYard will give us a lot of flexibility as far as doing some other things. But we might have to give up a little bit of quality on the picture quality to do that. I'd hate to do that. I'd rather not give up any quality, but we'll see how this whole thing goes down. Let's see what else. G-Town. I personally don't think we can power our modern cities on wind and solar alone. We need new fusion and thorium technology. Hey, the Holy Grail, a fusion reactor, right? Nuclear fusion. Yeah, that's it. Fusion is the one that they're trying to, if they could ever figure that out, that would be the Holy Grail, right? You end up with basically unlimited electricity and no dangerous materials to get rid of, right? Isn't that how that works? How fusion would work? Let's see. History Boy, great work and very impressive. How do you hook this up to broadcast to YouTube? Okay, so the the ATEM Mini Pro by default has different destinations in there that you can stream to, and it's very easy to get the stream key from YouTube and put it into the software, and then stream directly to YouTube with the device. You can also stream directly to Facebook. Several platforms are supported by default. Not at the same time. You have to pick which one you want to broadcast to. In this case, I selected YouTube. And so it's pretty user-friendly to set this ATEM Mini Pro up. It's got some software that you run on your computer that runs in conjunction with it, that you use that software to select the destination as far as where you want to broadcast to. And then once you do that, there's actually a button right on the device that says on air. You push that button, and it will then send the signal to YouTube. And then in the YouTube studio, which I'll show you right now, you just click and go live. So here's the YouTube studio, and you can see there that's the signal coming in, and you can see it says end stream. So I'm live right now. It's showing you the stats on it. And if I were to click on end stream right now, then that's exactly what it would do. It would end the stream. I clicked on that same button to start the stream. So basically, the ATEM Mini Pro is sending the signal to Facebook, and then at Facebook you actually start the stream, and then the streaming itself happens from the ATEM Mini Pro over to YouTube. It streams the signal over to YouTube, and then YouTube does its thing. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. G-Town is in the house. He says people who died from nuclear incidents, 50K tops. People who die from oil and coal pollution, well over 1 million every year. Fusion technology is worth innovating to improve. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if 1 million people die every year from oil and coal pollution, maybe. But yeah, if we could get energy from something like nuclear fusion, yeah, we'd basically have unlimited electricity. That's where we're going to end up. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, whatever. It's going to be, power is going to be basically unlimited. So it won't even be an issue. How much electricity you use won't even be an issue. I think that's where we'll end up. Let's see what else. 10 minutes left in the broadcast. Should we just watch the Grand Seiko second hand go around for 10 minutes? Would that be a good thing? Just watch that second hand. Look how smooth that is. Absolutely smooth. I did a clip when I first got it. I had it sitting next to the Apple Watch, which has a silky smooth second hand going around, right? And it was funny. Somebody commented, they said, wow, the Grand Seiko's even smoother than the Apple Watch. Oh, that was funny. That's funny. So, yeah, Tom says use the spring drive to power everything. That's a good idea. And by the way, Brianna released another video today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's a fundraiser for a young lady that, unfortunately, she had been surfing, and she was an Olympic hopeful, by the way, really good surfer down in El Salvador. And she was surfing, and a freak storm came down from the mountain, and she was getting out of the water. She knew the storm was coming, but it came very quickly. She got out of the water as quickly as she could. She was on her way out of the water, and she straight up got struck by lightning and died on the spot. 22 years old, Olympic hopeful surfer girl. And so they're doing a fundraiser to raise money to support the local surfers there and to create a fund to help them being able to train and get to events and things like that. And so the Bitcoiners are stepping up because that's an area where they've really embraced Bitcoin. And so the Bitcoiners are stepping up and trying to help raise 10 Bitcoin to get this fund going. So I thought that was really interesting. Buserv, did you get my email? I will look. And while I'm looking, I'm going to also go ahead and find this, show you this this video that that Bree put up, just so you can see that. But I'll do this first. Now it's asking me to sign in. For gosh sakes, come on. I was already signed in before. What the heck? Oh, verification code. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do all this right now. So let me check your email. Okay, so Buserv says if Carlos and company sees a man wearing an SBGN 005 on a black Suzuki, it may or may not be the Beverly Hills stalker. Okay, so let's show these photos. There you go. That's pretty hip. That looks like that'll get out of its way. Get out of its own way. Absolutely. Sounds like a rendezvous might be happening. And Tim says, I read about her tragic. Buserv, you never know when it's your last day. Get your things in order, people. Yeah. Tim, where did you read about where did you read about the young lady? Let me see if I can go to actually, I'll go ahead and try to log into this. Google Authenticator. Let me see if I can get in here. Twitter. Okay. I'm getting into Twitter, and I will pull up her page. Everything is running slow as molasses. Whenever I'm broadcasting, it runs slow as molasses. So this is Brianna's Twitter, and let me see here. This is the video in question that she posted. And actually, let's go ahead and play a little bit of it. Let's play a little bit of it.
Catherine Diaz, we miss you. A beautiful Olympic hopeful gone so young. We miss you, we miss you, we miss you. So much hope and promise gone in a flash. We'll always remember your style and every beautiful smile. A Bitcoin lady bringing hope to many. El Tunco Bitcoin Beach surfers will carry on in your name. Your memory will always be in the game. Bitcoiners far and wide will be with you in the Bitcoin Beach tide. Michael Peterson, Jack Mallers, and Miles Sutter are on your team, so donations will come in fast and clean. Peter McCormick is in, and help from Sailor, Pump, and Dorsey would ensure a 10 Bitcoin win. Bitcoiners are strong, so your legacy can live on. We miss you, we miss you, we miss you. Rest in peace, Catherine. Brief Dance loves you. Hope, hope, hope.
Okay, so you can find that on the lovely lady Brianna's, on her Twitter. And that is twitter.com/BriefitDance, twitter.com/BriefitDance. You can find that video. Get all over that, share it, all that kind of thing. Like, comment, share. Let's see here. Beaser says, Craig, my $200 Seiko Prospex quartz has proven to be just as accurate as my 9F so far. Feeling a little gypped, but surely the 9F has much nicer finishing and longevity. Yeah, they're built like a tank. They're really built well. And they are, unlike most quartz watches, they are designed to last, several lifetimes. So that's really what you're paying for with the 9F is the robustness of that movement. Almost all quartz watches are accurate. The question is, how long are they going to last and be accurate? Like this one here, my G-Shock, the plastic part all fell apart around it. So it's like the in the Terminator, when all his skin came off and you could just see the skeleton underneath. That's what happened to my G-Shock. So yeah, I don't think that'll happen with a 9F. What else? So those things sound nice at Cheetown. My friend wants to get one. Okay. I can only hope to have such a I can only hope to have such a nice song dedicated to me when I pass. Yes, that was very nice of Bree to do that and help her raise money. She's already generated some donations, and so that's good. Let's see, what model number is it? Okay, SV650X. I dream of a first-gen Honda CBR 900RR with carburetors. Yeah, but again, you got to get the fuel without the corn in it because those carburetors will foul up. I had all kinds of problems with my Honda Shadow with that fuel with the corn in it, the ethanol. Cheetown, Craig, what do you think the odds are that BTC will top out at $60K per share? I don't know. I mean, the latest data that I have seen is a significant number of new people are coming into the space every day, like something like 100,000 new people. So to me, it's amazing that it's been able to hold the levels that it's at. It's at almost 57,000 as we speak. To me, it's amazing these levels it's been able to maintain because you have to believe that a lot of OGs, folks that's paid very little for their Bitcoin, a lot of them are selling at these kinds of numbers. So the question is, when will they run out of Bitcoin to sell? Because if the demand stays as steady as it seems to be, and the supply starts drying up because these original gangsters start running out of Bitcoin to sell, then the price can only go up, given that scenario. So I don't know. I think there might be a lot of headroom here, a lot of room to run. I'm not selling my Bitcoin right now, so that should tell you something as far as my beliefs. And of course, one of the reasons I'm not selling is I don't want to pay huge capital gains. I'm cheap. I don't want to pay a bunch of money to the government. So that's one of the reasons I'm not selling. But the other reason I'm not selling is I think there's more upside. Not financial advice. Tom's in the house. A song might come from being a Wrench Gang member. There you go. Some hipsters would pay top dollar for a pre-damaged G-Shock like that if it had the Hodinkee strap. Okay. Cheetown, Craig, do you remember the 6-cylinder Honda CBX from the late 70s? Oh, yes, absolutely I do. The one with they're all in a line, all in a row? Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. I had a 4-cylinder Honda. I had a 2-cylinder with the 350 with the two cylinders, and then I also had one of the 4-cylinder ones with the 4 cylinders with the pipes all in a row. That was really smooth. And then they came out with that 6-cylinder one. That was outrageous. Absolutely, I remember. I remember when they were brand new. Craig, what shaving cream and blades are you using with your timeless razors? I'm not using shaving cream. I'm using soap, shave soap. The blades are Astra. I think Astra. Let me go here. Let me get something. Okay. All right, so these are the blades, Astra. And they are dirt cheap, and they're out of Russia, I believe. And they work fine. I have no issues with them, so I'm going to stick with them, at least for now. And then for soap, that's what I use. And they come in different scents. So you can find a scent that you like. And so, so yeah, those are the two I've been using. And I have I have the bowl from that little treasury, not little treasury, the Timeless Razors sells. I should have gotten that. I'll go get that. Full service show here, full service. Okay. All right. So this is the Timeless Razor titanium version, which is the one that I generally use. I also have the stainless. Where is it? It's right here behind the iPad. Okay. I also have the stainless one here. And I like them both, but the titanium, I just feel like I don't know, I just like the lighter weight. Some people like a heavier razor, So the stainless would be for them. I would prefer if this had the longer handle on it. See, it has a shorter handle, but it's long enough. I mean, it's fine, but I do prefer the longer handle on this one. So if I could have my cake and eat it too, I'd get the titanium with the longer handle. Matter of fact, I got to contact them and just see if I can I know they sell the handles separate. Maybe just get a longer handle for this one. So those are the razors. And then as far as the bowl for so this is the bowl. The soap is in the bottom there. You can see that. And then once it finishes, I just put another one in there and I get it a little bit wet, and then I push it down into the bottom of the bowl, and then once it dries, it's in there solid, right? And then I use this bowl with this. This one came from what was the name of this? Wild West Brushworks. Wild West Brushworks. But he had a fire, and I think he went out of business. I don't know if he still makes them, but it's a synthetic. It's not actual beaver or whatever. It's synthetic. Not badger. I mean, not badger. It's like synthetic. But it really works great. And so I just lather up the soap with this, rinse my face real good, and then I just use this and I do 2 passes. I put the soap all over and I shave once, and then I do it again, do another pass. Some people do 3 passes, but 2 works for me. So on that, do I ever skip a day shaving? I try not to. I don't like to sleep without a clean shave, so I like to have had a good shave that day, at least. Sometimes I'll shave even before I go to bed. Thanks for showing your shaving gear. Okay, sure, no problem. All right, we are going to wrap it up. Wrap this puppy up. And thanks again to Carlos and friends for calling in. That's always appreciated. And stay tuned for some exciting things coming on the channel later on. I think so. I think it's going to be exciting. So if I can get my computer to work here. Are you going to Florida this summer? No, I wouldn't go in the summertime. I would go in the wintertime, Tom. Not in the summer, but this winter, yes. Yes, I probably will be going. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you.